It's all tritones, I think, too. Welcome. Let's turn this off and get to the show. Turn it off quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live.
Happy Monday.
You're on mute. Happy Monday. Happy Manic Monday.
Try that again. Happy Monday.
We're trying new things here with microphones and such. It was a full moon yesterday, as we all know, and today is a new week. So starting off in the right direction. We hope everybody had a great weekend. Enjoying the weather, having some nice food. We're back in the state of New York and back on live stream.
Our usual settings.
Yeah, exactly. I might move around. Maybe not today, but see how this sounds. I have to go into my vault downstairs, or the troll hole, which doesn't sound good at all. So today we're here talking about DNS plus hosting. Not all about DNS and not all about hosting, but really when they are combined. And by combined, we mean in a service or a platform such as Squarespace or such. I said such. I sound like the girl from what was that? Miss America, the Iraq and such. So when they're combined, meaning if you go to Squarespace or you go to Wix and you buy their package, it comes with the domain. And then when you want to move away, inevitably, you come to us, Three Tone Digital, and we say, wait, is your domain still? And you say, yes. So this is about the cons. I was going to say pros and cons, but really it's about the cons. There aren't many pros to having your domain within whatever platform that you've chosen. Should be separate. And we'll go over some reasons, 5 reasons, and hopefully at the end of it, you'll have no questions. But if you do have questions, we're always here to answer them and to give you reasons why you should switch to WordPress or get out of Wix and Squarespace and Weebly and whatever else is out there in this madness.
So just to back it up with what DNS stands for, it's a domain name server. Sorry about that. And we get that all the time. Like, what is DNS? What is DNS? Like, understanding what that is, it is your domain. When you first thought about your site, where was it purchased? And that's like one of the biggest questions ever. So that we get, and we kind of want to go through all of the cons and drawbacks for those solutions that seem so easy. You get your domain and you get your website hosting and your website's up. So that's what we're going to go over today, like Tony was saying.
Yeah, and just to clarify, DNS isn't always where the domain is. You can get your domain somewhere and then have an external DNS, which most people do. And I think that it is a good idea. Sometimes when in the beginning we used to be like, why would people do that? But it is multiple points of possible failure. You want to prevent failure, so having your things spread out. But we're not really talking about that. I just want to clarify, like DNS doesn't have to be where the domain is. You can have
really, and literally every situation.
No, you've seen it. We've seen it before. Like a name server points to somewhere where their DNS is managed in a different, like Cloudflare or whatever, but the domain is.
Okay. With CDN.
Yeah, or semantics I'm talking about. But I was just saying, you're right. Like DNS and domain, they pretty much are the same. They're usually in the same place, but they don't have to be.
Okay, so what we're going over is the all-in-one situations where they will be where you purchase it if you're using like website builders, Weebly, Squarespace, and Wix, and other ones.
Yeah,
so those will be there. Usually it's a common, I think 95%, right? Or even more, that we've had that if you have those builders, your domain is on there.
Yeah, because they make it easy right from the beginning.
Yeah, usually I don't even know if you can use a CDN like Cloudflare with those. I don't think they allow that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably not. But if they do, still. So yeah, we're going to go over the 5 drawbacks of combined DNS and website hosting, starting with the beautiful and lovely Raina. I'm going to mute myself.
I thought you were describing the point. I was like,
Okay, too.
number one. Okay, so it is number one really is a single point of failure. So think about it. If you have your DNS and your website hosting and that goes down, the server goes down, everything goes down. So you can no longer have or re-point your domain somewhere else. Everything is completely down and you're stuck. What else on that point? It also
Yeah.
technical issues.
Yep. I was gonna say, yeah, if their servers go down, or if you don't have a login, you can't log in, all your stuff's under one roof. So, and single point of failure, obviously, even just the other day, we saw that massive outage with CrowdStrike and Microsoft. I know it's not Microsoft's fault, but things go down, and it's especially as we get further into the realm of AI, and not to bring it to Gen AI and stuff like that, but hacks and phishing and spoofs are getting way better. And I can imagine this being more of, I know that the CrowdStrike issue supposedly wasn't anything to do with that, but I could see it getting more and more towards the direction of things being hacked because of generative AI personally. So that single point of failure, we're saying just because it's under one roof, yeah, it has the nicety of that's all there, but if it goes down, it goes down. Then everything's down. Your domain, your website, if you want to call it that, if you're on Squarespace website, for sure. Yeah, so I think single point of failure, number one, that's a good reason too.
All right, number two, cost inefficiency. So a lot of the times they put all these extra fees in this bundle. And if you just look, there's other places that you'll save money annually. And Namecheap is one of them where if you can compare the costs and you can see the dramatic difference in pricing for an annual cost. And that's just managing the domain. So that's just something to think about. There is an increase in fees when it comes to that bundle.
Yep, and it could go up depending on the packages that you have each year, just like Netflix. And Netflix raised their price again. Was it Netflix? Some service that we have.
Yeah, Netflix.
Yeah, and just like these, they do it every year. And by the time a few years from now, you'll be paying $50 a year for a domain when you could be paying $12.98 on Namecheap or similar services. We like Namecheap because it's really easy, really simple to just get someone in there that doesn't really know tech and to have their own account, so on and so forth. So yeah, cost and efficiency. I mean, they make it seem pretty bundled in the beginning. They're like, you can get a website and a domain for $5, and then the next bill comes like $40 and like $80. Sorry, we raised it. So it is inefficient when it comes down to it. You can get a domain, manage it yourself externally, manage the DNS for far cheaper than one of these services will charge. The end. So yeah, we have scalability issues. And I mean, this one is more just the common sense of going with a service like Squarespace or Wix. I mean, we can even talk about the domain, but we can also talk about the website itself too. There are scalability issues on all fronts in terms of the domain, meaning maybe you want subdomains or redirects. You are restricted in there. I've been in the UI for Wix, and it doesn't let you do everything that you can do in others, that's for sure. But also, not even just the domain, which is a little bit of a different topic, but we came off a call with someone that was a Squarespace site, and I was explaining how sites like that, you can build page upon page upon page, almost like my post I put about a Winchester house, where you just build a site like crazy. But when you want to do something that has to do with business information, like maybe you have services or a team, sub-services, team categories, things like that, WordPress is amazing for that because it lets you manage those things externally. You can have views of them on the website without having to manage pages or adding pages. So I know this is completely off topic, but coming off that call, I have so much to say about the scalability of WordPress versus all these others. So we'll table that for another time. But scalability in terms of domains, yeah, I mean, having your own DNS management is far better than relying on some other UI that might change, that might update, that might even go away. Who knows? So that's number 3. Vendor lock-in. You getting locked in. I mean, this we've covered it a couple times, just talking about it right here. But you're locked into the service subscription fee. I hate that word. There's too many S's. You're locked into something that obviously gives bad SEO because, again, I'm talking about this call we just came off of. But when you build something on these sites, the HTML usually is the same as a template, and then the content's different. And Google knows that the HTML is the same, but the content's different, so your SEO juice gets sucked away. And again, that's not about the domain, but it's just another thing to remember. But you are locked into these Wix and Squarespace and stuff, because once you want to transfer out, again, this is about this call we just had, it could take a day to a week to transfer out of there, or longer. And there's sometimes a lot of things involved, like when you go to Namecheap, you have to have official registration and address, because it's like a government thing now. And to actually move it out of these services, you have to obtain a code. There's 2-factor authentication. It could take a week, like I just said multiple times now. So you are kind of locked in. There's obviously you can get out, but even just the fact of getting in there, it just makes it harder to get out. So we suggest never even getting in there in the first place, but getting out is possible. It just can take a couple emails or a couple days. It depends. Sometimes I've seen it done in an hour, but recently there was one from Squarespace, I think, that was almost a week. You had to contact them, and they were like, you have to wait.
Yeah, I think it was Wix that took a long time too. Another
okay.
of ours. But yeah, when it's vendor lock-in, they really lock you in, and there's a process to get out, and it is something that they don't make it easy.
Yeah, and you're kind of locked in too in terms of, if you don't have so say you have a Squarespace site and you want a new WordPress site, and we develop it, 3-Tone Digital. You could just leave the domain there, some of these services, but then you're paying an extra subscription fee. There's that word again on top of it. So you might as well just get it out, you know?
Yeah, I would say it doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint to stay there, and you'll save money to just move it off now, even though it's going to take a little bit of a more steps in order to do it.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the last step right here, not think because I'm reading it, number 5 is security concerns, which is a loaded subject, I think. And I think that these services that are out there, obviously they're secure enough where you don't hear about hacks, but if you Google it, you'll find it. What happens is that a lot of sites are on the same server. It's shared servers, shared server resources, shared server inodes, and other things. So when something becomes infected, everything can become infected. So I mean, that's what the site. I'm not really sure about the DNS in terms of security concerns. What are the security concerns?
Well, think about it. If somebody is able to hack, because there's one login to get to your DNS and your website, they can take it over.
Makes sense.
So it's more so if they have access to your login information, then they have everything. They have your domain, they have your website and your website hosting, and they can do whatever, and you can't even access it. So
yeah, that's actually a good one to end on, because it almost loops back around to the beginning, because the security concern is back to that single point of failure, and if something happens, you're stuck in there. And then you got the cost efficiency of hiring someone to fix that error, the scalability, so it's a big cycle. I always say that you should, it sounds dramatic, but you should cut your losses. If you have a site, even if you just renewed it, our suggestion is to don't go any further. Look at ways that you can build an actual and own a website of your own, whether it be a business or personal website. Going down these paths of these builders, I feel like we talk about it all the time, but it's true. Going down this path can really put you in a bad situation in the future. We see it all the time. I know it's easy. I know it's the easy way out, but they always say the easiest way out usually is not the best. Is it not?
Yeah, and also just an insider, I know Wix price is going to go up. So if you have a Wix account, I'm sure everyone who does would have been notified by email that their prices are going up come August. So that is something that I know for sure because a client of ours is in the process of wanting to move over to WordPress and get out of Wix. So it's pretty a high amount. It's increasing $200 a month. So whatever that cost was plus $200.
Oh my God.
That's a big hike in price.
That's a humongous hike in price. That's crazy.
So I can't imagine she's not the only one. It's anyone who has a Wix. You know how they send out those global emails and saying our rates have increased and come this date, it will be an increase,
Yeah. One thing about WordPress is that it never increases in price. It's free. How could it increase? There's of course hosting fees. We have hosting plus maintenance packages. You can see all that information on our website. It's affordable and we can maintain it, meaning keep things up to date. We have special servers actually. I was actually trying to rationalize it the other day. I was like, well, what's the difference of them getting a server versus us? But we pay for this larger package that actually has higher performance, has caching with Cloudflare, and it has this site monitoring. So anytime anything goes, we always get these emails. Anything's wrong with the site, it needs updates, plugins, there's a security patch, the site's down for some reason, which is few and far between, but it happens. We get these emails. So that hosting package that we do provide with maintenance, with or without maintenance, is beneficial and it is affordable in comparison to what's out there on the free market. There's a lot of hosting back. I mean, if you go on WordPress, you can go SiteGround, WP Engine, Kinsta, DreamHost, GoDaddy, two of them. So there's a bunch of options. We like the trusted ones that are fast, secure, and don't have problems rather than GoDaddy and others. So yeah, I think those are the 5 drawbacks of combined DNS and website hosting, aka e.g. Wix, Squarespace, and others. I don't want to say Weebly. Did you say Weebly?
Oh, okay. That's another thing that we just realized because Weebly is so outdated. But I had no idea that Square acquired it in 2018. So I'm a little bit behind because we don't deal with Weebly sites. But that is something that we figured out because we're in the middle of, we have a project where the client has a Weebly site, but when you go to log in, it says Weebly Square. And usually we have, Square had its own platform and Weebly had its own platform. So there were 2 logins, but they merged. Now there's 1 login. So one less login to get, but just realize that as we're trying to get access.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that kind of goes along with this vendor lock-in. Like the company that you're using for the website can easily be bought out by GoDaddy. And then you're messed, your future's screwed. Now, like, you just don't know what's happening with these. At least with an open source system, you have ownership. We always say it, ownership and control over it. You can destroy it. You can make it better. You can improve it over time. Whereas you can't do that with a lot of other systems. They'll pretend you can, but can you really? It's just our 2 cents. Let me take that screen off. And let's get us in some code mode. What? We came on at the wrong time today. There's really nobody.
I know it's 11. We usually don't come on this late, 11:30. It's either going to be in the afternoon or early morning, but yeah, everyone's working.
Yeah.
Not a good view, not a good time. We're testing.
We should have came on maybe like later around like lunch or something.
Yeah.
People watch us on lunch. What's the best time? Let's throw that out there. Are you watching this? Anybody? Hello? Is anybody out there? Just nod if you can hear me. Yeah, what's the best time for these? I mean, we could do our own research, but it would be nice to hear from the public. So yeah, I mean, let me get this code off because now it feels like we're in the Matrix. I'm gonna call Mia and talk.
Okay, just a random. It's National Hammock Day today. You're supposed to jump in a hammock, relax with a book outside. I learned that hammocks originally were created which I think everyone could kind of guess this, but so you wouldn't be on the ground, get away from creatures. And I think it came from Europe or something, and they brought it back here. But yeah, so if you have a hammock, have you ever had a hammock or?
Never. Well, didn't I sit in a hammock at that Airbnb? Remember, it was on the tree.
Did you what?
I sat in a hammock at the Airbnb. I laid down in it. It was that one.
Oh,
with the
I kind of
backyard.
recall a little bit of that, but I don't.
That was my first time in a hammock.
We had hammocks growing up.
Really? They're
Believe it or
dangerous.
not, I
though.
remember falling off hammocks. Hammocks, I don't know why, but they have all these different hammocks now. But I don't know, for some reason, I remember this news report about a lot of accidents with kids on hammocks, so that just be careful. I'm like, how does this happen? But if you have a young kid, don't put them in the hammock.
Yeah, I think they get tangled in it and then something. I'm scared of doing it, so I don't want to get tangled and die inside of a hammock.
No, it was relaxing from what I remembered, but I remember they were like the old ones, so it was kind of like it's easy to fall off.
Yeah, I don't mess with
We
them.
don't have hammocks, but if you do,
We don't. We have a tree that we could put it on though in the front. I was telling the neighbor that day. Remember? I was like, we should put a hammock here. He's like, that's a good idea.
If only if that tree was in the back.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't really relax in the front when everybody's there. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's looking at you.
Yeah,
they have those portable hammocks now too that open up and then they have the hammock inside of it. Maybe we think about that. We should have a double hammock. We don't do anything alone. We're like a unit. So if there was a double hammock that seated two people or laid two people down.
They do have double hammocks.
We should look it up and get one today. Hammock Day. Happy National Hammock Day. I wonder what the word hammock comes from. Sounds so weird. Hammock. What other day is it? Well, we already know it's
weird
Monday.
ones. There's some weird ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Things that I don't really relate to.
Let's see. What's today? The 22nd? Let's see in our day of history today. Oh, Prince George's birthday is today. Did you know that?
No.
Yep. That is the first child of Prince William and Kate Middleton. He's 12 something. He looks old. I saw a picture that the Princess Catherine of Wales has posted on Twitter today with her little icon. Oh, the March of the Penguins was released today. That's a great movie. Penguins are my personal favorite animal. I love penguins. Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer was caught today in 1991. Interesting. Just looking up. These have nothing to do with any of this what we're talking about. Let's try to find one that is related. I can't really find one. But I mean, it's Monday. Mondays suck sometimes, as do combined DNS and hosting. There, I did it.
Don't get locked in.
Don't get locked into your Monday. Well, I think you're on mute. I don't know if you just muted. Okay. Don't get locked into your
That's
Monday.
my final word. I don't even need a final word screen.
Are you sure? Can I put you full
that.
screen for a sec, though?
Okay.
See how nice you look. I love her. Okay. I guess then we'll call it a day, 23 minutes. That's pretty good. And we'll play us out. You don't have anything else to say?
I would just say that think about the long run when you're setting off. I know sometimes it's like a race to the finish line and you're trying to just get things up and running. But if you really look at it and take a moment and think about your business and the fact that it's going to grow and to keep things efficient and to be able to scale upwards, you have to think about these things and make the best decision for yourself. And it might cost more when it comes to, or even take a little bit more time. I won't say costs more because it costs more to go the other way. It might take a little time setting these individual things up, but in the long run, it'll be worth it because you are going to save money and you can grow your website in the most efficient way. So don't get locked in, guys. Don't get locked in.
Yeah.
Don't fall for the easy way out. What did you say? You said something. You said a quote.
I don't know. But I was going to say, like, on top of that, yeah, it does cost more. There's more time too. And there might be these upfront things. Like when you do transfer a domain from something to Namecheap, it does, what is it, like $12. There is a fee right there. So there are these upfront things or getting hosting and stuff, but in the long run, you will be paying off the amount you'd be paying with something else quickly.
I
Like
think you
literally,
said something about shortcuts earlier this morning. You said if you take the shortcut,
then you
fall off the bridge.
fall off.
You might fall off the bridge. No, I'm making that up. I forgot what you said, but it was kind of good. Like it's easy. You think, oh, I can get it done now, but it's almost like a payment plan. If somebody's like, oh, I have a payment plan, but then they're adding interest on interest on interest, then it's like when you really take a minute and you're like, why would I'm going to owe an extra $300 with this plan? You know, it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's true. It is like that. I did say cut your losses. Cut your losses and move on. We should, you know what our national day should be? Like we should put in a submission for leave your whatever, leave Wix, leave Squarespace, leave
your builder day.
Leave your that's a good one. I bet we could get that accepted. All right. Well, it's been real. We'll be back tomorrow. We're back on our thing. We did skip a day and a half. Let's not talk about those. We were having a beautiful time with the babies and such.
And family.
I'll say it one more time. And
babiesandfamily.com.
I'll register it right now.
Babies. I wonder what's on that site. Babies and
watch
it's
out.
not a
I don't
domain.
know. What is it?
Nothing.
Okay. It's like an unregistered domain. It's kind of weird. Babies and families. Oh, she's probably registering it right now.
I don't think it's. I don't know. I'd have to look. Nothing pulls up when I did it on a incognito.
All right.
But yeah.
All right. Let's play us out and wish everybody a happy day
and a good start to the week.
Great start to the week. Yeah. And that's it. Take care. Here's our outro. Bye, everybody.
Toodles.
Toodles.